grid congestion. How do you expect this to happen in the future years?
Well, one thing that's obvious is that there's an enormous amount of electric cars coming on the road, and every car that we have is the equivalent of 10 households in basis of power consumption. And that's not kilowatt hours, but real power, so watts, kilowatts. And although we have some extra capacity on the grid, we know already that we don't have enough extra capacity available to charge all those cars at the same time. And we can do a lot of things with smart charging by adjusting the time at which the charging actually starts with respect to when the connection starts. We can delay charging, we can vary in speed, but we are also preparing for situations in which all those interactions with the car are not enough anymore. That's what my work is about.
And those schedules, those time schedules are to be expected, that we really do have a problem as a society?
Well, I wouldn't say we have a problem because we have the solution in our hands. We have a smart charging, which we know is working very well. What we just need to do is make smart charging the standard in the whole country and whole of Europe, really, so that we make people aware that they actually don't have to start charging immediately, that they can rely on the system to determine the exact time where charging is most well suited for the grid situation, for the monetary part, where sometimes energy is cheap, sometimes it's more expensive. You can rely on smart charging to choose the best tariff for you. And you can also make sure that with smart charging, the power will always remain and that there will be no power outages because there's a system in place that will check that for you.
You also introduced a new let's say, tool today. The solution is called the Grid Shield, you said. It is smart charging, I guess, but what is it exactly?
Well, the Grid Shield is actually the extra safety net that we add to smart charging. Because in all our smart charging projects that we did at Elaad NL with our partners, we found that there can be some instances where smart charging fails to do what it's supposed to do. Because, for instance, you lose connection with the chargers, or because there's some component that you rely on that is not producing as much energy as you thought it would. And for those instances, which will also occur more frequently, the more we depend on data communication and the more extra smart and power-consuming equipment we get on the grid, then you need to have something in place that will kick into action when an unexpected event happens. And that's what the Grid Shield does. It just monitors the situation. Is it within limits? Then it does nothing. If there's something that triggers a safety limit that we program in the Grid Shield, then the Grid Shield will prevent further events from happening and will autonomously reduce the charging speed until the situation is comfortable again. So that's what it does.
Well, it's all about data. Are you able to manage this safe and secure for the audience?
Yeah, we are really dependent on data, like you say, but to make us a bit less dependent on data, we developed the Grid Shield autonomously. So it's not part of the all the other parts of the energy management system, which communicate, for instance, through Wi-Fi or through special cables that we put in the ground. But the Grid Shield communicates through LoRa, which is really local, which means that if there's someone trying to intervene in the safety net, it can only intervene very locally. And so the rest of the country will not have any problem if someone happens to bypass our safety in the Grid Shield, because it's just local, LoRa.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.